Nice to see all these folks out here participating in democracy. I'm pretty sure that most of the agencies that we have in this country would like us to stop having democracy, so it's nice to see us keeping it going. I was listening to Shirley telling you that they were working on getting me less phone calls, and I really appreciate that. But I never really noticed it as much until last week. And I asked Bell Canada to move my phone lines from my old house to my new house. And that was Friday, and I haven't had a phone since. So that really relieved the phone calls. It wasn't really good timing for the AGA for our conference because people have been calling all over Ontario trying to get a hold of me. But and the other thing I thought that Shirley mentioned that was not quite accurate was that we have a very small voice at the City of Ottawa. And I don't think we have a voice at all in the City of Ottawa. It's zero. We were at the IRAC committee meeting, and none of those councillors there would take our word back to the City of Ottawa. They refused to take it. They absolutely refused. They said, it doesn't matter what we say, they won't accept it anyways, so what's the point of taking it? Now that's our representatives, right? And so we hope the new blood... Sorry?
They blame my cars.
They blame my cars. I blame my cars for things too. That's why we're amalgamated. Anyways, I will leave him alone for tonight. So we've had a pretty busy year in the landowners, and there's been a lot of things coming and going, and a few wins and a few losses, obviously, but I think on the most part we've won quite a few of our... They don't give you a win, most of these cases. They walk away, you know. That's how that's what we call a win now, is when they drop their hands and walk away and stop pestering people. And it's not a real win, because that leaves them free to go ahead and pester somebody else down the road. So we haven't changed the rules. But we're inviting you to come to this conference, this International Property Rights Conference in October at Ottawa. It's at Canada, at the Holiday Inn. And there's room there for 240 people, and we'd like you guys all to come tonight and come down there and fill her up. But these folks are coming from all over the world, Australia, and oh dear, I guess my phone's working.
Is that your phone?
It is. It's working now. Yeah, it'll quit.
I guess it won't be off, but it's on all day.
It is.
Turn it off, Tom, it'll be off. Come on.
There.
I was going to say, Marlene, no, I turned it back on.
So we got Len Harris is coming. He's a former senator in Australia. It's sort of interesting because Australia elects their senators. And I think probably we should elect our senators. I know it seems to be a big problem to do that, but Len has a pretty good history of standing up and debating in the Senate, and was pretty good at it. He also was a huge advocate against Agenda 21. He was our worst enemy in Australia, and was quite successful in helping to reduce its effect in Australia. And these other two boys, it's Tom DeWeese and Michael Kaufman. They come as a team pretty much. They're not a team, but they do often speak together. And they've had a 45-year history of fighting for property rights down in the States. And we think that the United States is the land of freedom, and property rights is enshrined in their Constitution. Oh boy, the signs are falling off the wall. I must be talking too loud. But the fact is, Canada has a better record for property rights than the States has, and Texas is one of the worst culprits for abuse of property rights and freedoms. And these guys will tell you why. I won't tell you tonight, but they'll tell you why. And it's a poor excuse, but part of the reason for their loss of property rights is the fact that they do have it in their constitution, because once you define it, you then give them a chance to chip away at it. In Canada, our property rights are considered inalienable rights, or unalienable rights, however you want to say it. So you were born with those. They were handed to you by a higher power than man, and they cannot be taken away by man. It's the right to life and liberty and all that stuff. It's inalienable, can't be defined, can't be taken away, can't be chipped away by man. So we don't necessarily need it in the Constitution, and I'm sort of getting off topic here, but that is part of the battle down there, and we always thought they were the free people in the States and they had more power. But another fellow is Ron Gibson, and he's from Oregon. He's the vice president of the mining association out there for three states. But he's a lot more than that. He's a constitutional student. He studied constitutional law. He's an expert witness for patent grants in courts, and he goes all over the states from Oregon to Florida, standing in court to represent people on their patent grants. They even had patent grants down there from Spain that stood up against the cities down there that tried to take over the property. So these things do stand if you have the right people witnessing for you and know the law. And then, of course, we have Liz Marshall's going to come there and speak on our behalf. And the fact is, these guys are coming here because of Liz Marshall, because she's been in contact with those folks, and they're sort of blown away with the research she does, and they want to come and meet with her and meet with us. And Tom DeWeese actually told me himself, he said, we've been dreaming of creating one of these property rights conferences for years, internationally. He said, but we never got around to doing it. And so we're going to do it, whether we succeed or not, we're going to do it. So the more people is there, the more successful we'll be. So if you can manage to get out, it'll be a full day. We're going from 8 o'clock in the morning for registration till 5 o'clock at night, then taking a supper break and going back at it from 7 till 9 for another round. And that'll be a more intimate sort of round rather than just find out about the folks. And then on Sunday morning, anybody who wants to join us, we'll have an after breakfast meeting until noon to hammer out some more stuff, some ideas. Bring your ideas of what we can do. We feel that these guys have been lobbying government way up at the top, and we've been down on the ground putting out the fires. So we need to fill in the whole army in between, and we're hoping they can teach us how to lobby government better, and we hope to be able to teach them how to get down on the ground and get some folks, because they don't have landowner groups down there. These guys are very much on their own fighting these things in a lot of ways. So that's what we're hoping to do, and I hope some folks can make it out. Yeah.
Is it true that some of the folks are going down to New Brunswick?
Well, there is. That's I just want to let Liz tell you about that, but we actually have people coming up from New Brunswick to this conference. New Brunswick has created a new party down there because they got tired of their old parties, and they're called the New Brunswick Alliance Party. And there's a few of those folks coming up to this conference to just see what's going on. Their election's coming up pretty soon after that, so I don't think it's going to help them much this year, but they were really impressed with hearing some of our stuff, so they're coming up to join us. I guess that's all I have to say about the conference. Did I miss anything?
Where can they sign up?
Yes. Well, you can call me if I have a cell phone, but that was probably one I missed. You can sign up right over there tonight. We've got forms over there tonight.
Here they are.
Liz is holding them.
Marty's got them.
And
there's the parliamentary and
that's right. And Diane Mount has got up on the left side of that display over there. There's an offer to go on a tour of the Parliament buildings when they're sitting, and to the Governor General's house whenever in the afternoon, right?
service will be people who can at 7:30 a.m.
Yep, and that's on Friday morning. So anybody's in town and wants to put their name in for that, if we can get enough people to go on that one, that will roll. So we need, how many do you think you need for that, 25 or 30? Started or what?
Yeah, if we get 25, 30,
We're good to go. So,
What about rooms at the conference?
there's Holiday Inn has got rooms reserved until the 17th, I believe.
It's on the 16th.
17th, they're holding some rooms for us at $149 for twins and $159 for queens, right? So anybody is coming into town and wants to stay overnight, that's where the guys are going to be staying, the speakers are going to be staying there. There's lots of parking down in that parking lot and out in front of Future Shop. So there's a big parking lot there, so there's no issue parking. So it shouldn't be a problem that way. So right now I'd like to, well, go ahead, Claude.
The tickets in the draw.
Take some.